Hi, I'm Matt Davis, the Director of Customer Success here with Censys Technologies. This is Caleb Hayes, our Customer Service Manager. So just to recap where we're at, we've already done all of our pre-flight inspections of the aircraft. We've completed and uploaded a plan onto the flight controller. Now we're out in the field ready to actually execute the mission. So if you look around the area, first the setup for the ground station location. So these flights go on for quite a while. It's handy to have some type of a covering so that you're not sitting out there in the sun for that entire time. Also, that makes it a little easier to see the screen. Obviously a table to have as a workstation, and you can see that we also have a charging station out there to be sure all of our unified control and everything maintains a good charge throughout the operation. Moving into the area around the aircraft, you see we have cones set out to keep anybody from inadvertently moving into our launch and recovery site. Just overall safety and awareness for anybody that comes by. So now that everything's ready leading up to launch, Caleb's going to go ahead and go through his last minute checks.
All right, we have 26 satellites. Our horizontal accuracy is 3.1 and vertical is 4.7. Battery voltage is 48.63 volts. Current consumption looks good.
So the ADS-B shows it's all clear within the area. Another note, we are right here next to Daytona Beach International's Class C airspace. We have already done a coordination with the tower prior to flying in this area. So now we're at the point where all he has to do is flip into mission mode and arm when ready.
Arming in 3, 2, 1.
Armed.
"25 feet, 50 feet, 75, 'There's the yaw. I see transition. Airspeed's coming alive. I see full aero. We're going into the orbit. We're climbing altitude.
So now that we've started into the mission, transition is complete. That's where we know that we're in aero mode. It's beginning that orbit up to altitude. Like I say, I always like to start my missions with that just so I can control where the climb goes. Now once we get in the operation, you pretty much live down the bottom right corner of the HUD. That's where you'll see your airspeed. It should be about 40 the entire time. Your altitude, it should be matching what you're expecting for your mission. For today, we planned for 300 feet. And your attitude. As the aircraft turns, you see your attitude indicator matching up with those turns as it goes through that. Again, mainly you're focused on that bottom right corner. You do periodically look up into the right corner, and you can tap on the battery button, and it'll expand that menu out. You can hit more details, and you can see your current draw during the operation. Once you're into straight and level fixed wing flight, you should be roughly around 15 amps for your current. If you start seeing anything way higher, it means you're probably fighting wind. Odds are you look down and you have a 10 or 15 mile an hour headwind. Your current could be a little higher up, closer to 20. When you're flying with a tailwind, you're down to 10 or below a lot of times. One important note to always keep in mind is it can become almost boring during these operations, and that's where you really have to kind of charge yourself to, I got to stay focused and keep being sure you're doing that monitoring. That's why you do have the option on the UI to center on the aircraft. I don't like to turn that active because that means I have to constantly move my screen to stay followed with that aircraft, and it kind of keeps me engaged in the operation. So that is just one practice I always use. So once your mission's complete and you're nearing your landing phase, that's where your second person, which would be me, starts kind of doing a quick look around the airspace, make sure there's no threats. So he can go ahead and be sure everything's clear as going into landing orbit. Looks good to me. So as that aircraft starts to move in towards its landing orbit, we're just going to kind of do call outs as it starts descending down.
Coming in for transition at 150 feet.
So now that it's coming into transition, continue to keep a good lookout around your airspace. And here she comes overhead. I see transition complete.
I see hover.
And we start seeing
We're
our
at
descent.
170 feet.
About
130. 90. 60 feet.
I see the 60-foot slowdown.
40 feet.
Appears to be good right over the pad.
30 feet.
Confirm disarm.
Disarmed.
Important thing right there. Never approach that aircraft until disarm is confirmed on the screen. Now, 90% of the time, that right there works fine. The aircraft's going to go down and land right where we're supposed to. But let's say there's some other consideration. Somebody walked into your launch and recovery site. Any reason you had to arrest the descent of that aircraft, all you have to do is switch from mission mode into position mode. It'll arrest that descent. You can climb a little bit if you want to, clear whatever hazard was in the area, and then bring it down manually. So today we covered everything we need to set up before flight and the safety things we're monitoring during flight and some extra considerations for the end there if something were to be off nominal. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and thanks for tuning in.